Am I an idiot for saying my mom named me like a Mad Lib? My first name, Waverly, is the street my mom grew up on. My middle name is where I was conceived. My last name is a noun. It feels like a Mad Lib. I've never felt any strong way towards my name other than wishing I had a girlier name when I was a kid. But I've always felt a little frustrated at the fact that my mom named me like one of those security question scams on Facebook. My siblings all were named a bit more normally. Anyways, my sister is pregnant and didn't want a baby shower, so we had a nice dinner for her 3 days ago instead. We got onto the topic of names and my family started giving their input and I told her, you could always take mom's approach and just do a Mad Lib. My sister laughs and my mom throws herself on the table and bursts into tears. She starts wailing about how she didn't know I hated my name so much, how awful she is as a parent, how I should just change my name and be done with her. My siblings and I console her, or try to. And after like 20 minutes with no success, my sister tells me I should leave so I don't upset her anymore. My boyfriend, together 3 years, is fuming the whole way home, saying I knew that would upset her and I put him in an awkward spot. He's been frustrated with me since. My sister also says I did it on purpose to upset her. We've always had a rocky relationship. And then I ruined her dinner because I was jealous of her for having a baby. I'm not. My other siblings have stayed mostly out of it but told me to apologize to our mom, which I did. I called and told her how sorry I was and what I really did like my name. And she started saying I don't need to lie to spare an old woman's feelings and that she should be apologizing to me for saddling me with such a burden. I tried some more but she just kept wallowing. Ever since, she's been making 3-4 Facebook posts per day about how she's a bad mom and grateful that her children still love her despite all her failures. My family has started reaching out trying to be sure everything is okay. I didn't mean to say it maliciously. I genuinely harbor no ill will towards my mother. I feel like everything has spiraled out of control and I feel like this is some weird revenge thing she's trying to do. But was I actually mean enough to deserve the revenge? Was I really that out of line? Am I an idiot for saying my mom named me like a Mad Lib? Update. Hey everyone, it's the artist formerly known as Waverly. Just kidding, I didn't change my name. Did change my whole life around though. I wanted to post this update for a lot of reasons, but mainly to express my gratitude. I didn't have a lot of friends at the time and most of them were my boyfriend's friends. I truly didn't feel like I had anyone else to go to about this, so I'm so thankful for everyone who took the time to reply to my original post and provide insight. It was a lot to sift through and honestly, really painful. It felt like I was finally being validated after years of gaslighting myself. I always had a feeling that something was wrong but pushed it aside for the sake of being part of the family. The period after I posted was truly one of the lowest of my life, but also one of the most empowering. A lot of people told me to cut out my boyfriend but I didn't see the point. I didn't understand the accusations of narcissism. But when I sat down with him, explained how badly his siding with my mom hurt me, how it hurt to watch him turn against me when I needed support, his response was, "You did this to yourself." That was the light bulb moment I needed. We broke up. I moved in with my brother for a little while to get back on my feet. There were a lot of recommendations to go no contact with my mom, but I had a really hard time with the idea of it. Talking it over with her was mostly unsuccessful. She kept degrading herself and sending me all these backhanded apologies that made me feel worse. Everything ended in me apologizing. My sister had her baby. Whole family went to visit her and she told us the name. Top 10? Very traditional. My mom made a comment about me scaring her out of exercising creativity, without any crocodile tears or hysterics. It was pure hostility from her and it was another light bulb. I brushed it off, apologized to my sister, stuck around for another 30 minutes, and that was it. That was the last time I spoke to my mom. My brother harassed me about it, so I moved out of his place and into an extended stay hotel. I got a job a few states away, got an apartment, packed up my life and pretty much entirely started over. I haven't spoken to any of my family members in almost a year. There has been a lot of therapy, as recommended. It's been a painful, sad, lonely, and frustrating experience, but I'm also so much better off. I have new friends. I actually like my job a lot better now, and I'm creating my own weird little family with my pets, a family that I'm really a part of. Again, thank you to everyone who provided input. Not exactly the happiest update, but one for the better, not the idiot. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you won. You are no longer surrounded by narcissists, and you can cultivate a life for yourself without other people gaslighting and guilt-tripping you. I wish you the best of luck. Not the idiot. What an uplifting update. I know it must have been incredibly difficult for you, but you should be so proud of yourself for taking such brave steps and building a better, happier life for yourself. Would you have changed your name? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I an idiot for kicking my sister out of a family gathering over a comment about my adopted son? Some feel I, male 32, should have handled the situation, but I don't see how I'm wrong. Me and my sister, 37F, are not as close as we used to be because of some messed up stuff that happened years ago. I had my son Jesse, 9, pretty young. Months after that, to my surprise, my ex was pregnant again. Only I knew it wasn't me because having an infant to take care of and provide for left me with zero interest in sex. And we found out it was my sister's fiancé ex now that she was seeing behind our backs. It hurts. Worst pain ever, but for my son's sake I tried to get past it. I come from a family of half-sibs too, so I wanted my son to be close to his half-brother, Keith. Surprise. Not only were they, my ex and my sister's ex, horrible lying cheaters, but also terrible parents. Both got hooked on drugs, only escalated from there. He got locked up when Keith was 3. This particular issue with my sister happened a couple years ago. My ex got sick. She was scared of Keith ending up in foster care like her, and I didn't want that for him either. I legally adopted him before she passed when he was 6. Not everyone in my family was on board at first, but he's the kind of kid that is hard not to love, so they warmed up to him. My sister never did. She hated that I brought the son of her ex-fiancé into my family, and I understood why it was painful, but Keith's and Jessica's best interests were my main priority. That's how we drifted apart. Last weekend was my birthday and I had a small barbecue at my place. My parents have tried hard to mend things between us, so they convinced me to let her come too so we can chat. I thought that meant she was cool with Keith because obviously the 3 of us are a package deal. I asked my parents how she would feel about Keith. They said not to worry about it. Again, I took it as she came around. Only she wasn't told he would also be present. But how could he not be? He lives there. My sister got there and she was mad when she saw him. She very specifically said, "I thought this was family only, what's he doing here?" Loud enough where he could have easily heard, but thankfully he was playing with his brother. My sister was pissed because my parents told her Keith wouldn't be around. And I got pissed when she told me she didn't want him here, expecting me to do something about it. So I just told her to leave, and she's not welcome here then. There was some back and forth from her and my parents. I didn't want that kind of talk around my son, so I still made her leave. My mom seems to think I was a huge idiot for kicking her out of my party instead of trying to work things out. Like they take Keith somewhere out of sight while me and her talk. But to me, what's the point of us working it out if that's how she still feels toward my son? Well, this is still causing some conflict since I escalated the feud by making her leave instead of actually talking to her. Am I an idiot? Update. Okay, I actually wasn't going to add anything, but figured since conflict has somewhat resolved, why not? This issue was mostly on my parents, and I decided to contact my sister to discuss what to do with them. It was a very tense conversation. Really tense. She was still very mad at me. Lots of resentment, obviously. I was angry at her for her reaction at my party, but at least we managed to remain civil and kept the topic solely on our parents to make sure they don't try to pull something like this again. We agreed neither of us will be in each other's lives, her issues with Keith and me not wanting to exclude him as he's a big part of my life, and agreed that we both needed to speak to them together to get that point across. When we met up with them, we told them they're gonna have to accept that this is how it's going to be. Do holidays and celebrations like we've done them before, separate, one of us not attending, or showing up after the other has left. And they are not allowed to push us into talking, ambush us the way they did again, or that'll result in losing us both permanently. In the end, they seem to have got it. At least they apologized, and that was that. My sister and I went our separate ways. Does it absolutely suck? Yes, but that's where life's taken us. At least now neither of us have to worry too much if we're going to get tricked into a meeting again, at least I hope not. Oh, one thing I wanted to address, my son. I did see a few comments concerned if Keith heard what she said or not, or maybe he pretended not to. I kinda hope that he just didn't, since I didn't see a reaction, but thanks for pointing that out. In case he did, I didn't want him internalizing that. Unfortunately, yes, he did hear. We had a whole conversation several nights ago alone. He didn't want to admit at first he heard her, but you can tell from the kids. This heavy stuff never gets easy explaining to a kid. Best I could say was she was just angry, and angry people sometimes say mean things for no reason. But no matter what, he's family. He knows he's my boy and I love him, and his brother does too. I'm glad he knows that. Glad people brought it to my attention. Not the idiot. I'm glad you were able to have an in-depth discussion with your son. Definitely keep your boundaries up and watch for any self-hate talk. I don't belong with you talk, just in case. The way you handled your parents with your sister was kind of amazing. Truce to deal with this topic. Your parents' behavior, tricking both of you, and then stay away from me. Not the idiot. Your kids are very lucky to have a mature, compassionate father like you. I'm sorry you're going through this, but just know your kids will thank you one day for having their back and loving them unconditionally. Did this father take it too far? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I an idiot for refusing to get rid of my pet snake even though my step-siblings to be are scared of him? I am 15, and I have a ball python. His name is Frederick. My grandparents got him for me a year ago and paid for everything I needed to get started. But since then I have paid for everything he needs with my own money. I am not exaggerating when I say that I love my snake and consider him part of my family. My mom recently got engaged, and my stepdad-to-be has kids. They are all nice, and we normally get along very well, but we have started to have an issue. They are scared of, just don't like Frederick. He is really nice and would never hurt anyone and even looks cute. They just don't like him since he's a snake. When they started coming over a lot, I was just told to move his enclosure into my room. However, now that our parents got engaged, they are going to be moving in with us. My stepbrother is going to be sharing a room with me. He is 11. However, he doesn't want to be in the room if Frederick is in there. Our house isn't big enough for him to get his own room. His sisters are going to be sharing a room with my sister, my parents have their room, and then we have an office. I offered to move Frederick out of my room again, but that won't work for the other kids. My mom has told me I might just have to let go so that everyone can be happy, but I have refused. I do not, under any circumstances, want to lose him. My mom said I could get a new snake once I'm old enough to move out, and it would only be a few years. Both my stepdad and my mom have offered me money and other stuff to get rid of him, or that we could get a different pet, but I have refused to accept that. I don't want to sound spoiled or anything, but I want Frederick and only Frederick. I feel that if my step-siblings just gave it a chance and actually tried to get to know him even a little bit, they would be able to live with him. But they just won't. They have decided to not like him and won't let me try to change their minds. I know that they will have to live with us somehow, and this will have to be resolved. I asked other family and my friends, and people are split. So please, am I in the wrong for refusing to budge on this? Edit. I can't sleep, so I will talk to my parents in the morning. It's only been an hour, but you guys already have me seriously considering asking about moving in with my grandparents for the time being. Probably just until they can get a bigger house. I will also ask them about just moving someone into the office or keeping Frederick in there. However, since his even being in the house is an issue, this might not work. If I do move him to my grandparents' house, I would rather be with him. Thanks for all the support you guys have given me, I really appreciate it. Update. I talked to my parents about options with Frederick the morning after I posted, since I posted late at night since I couldn't sleep. In the end, after some convincing, I am now staying with my grandparents, along with Frederick, my snake. For those of you who didn't read the original post. My parents jumped on the idea, and since I do online school and they live so close by, I was able to switch pretty quickly. As a family, we have decided that this is the best for everyone. My parents agreed that the house was overcrowded, and my step-siblings to be couldn't live with Frederick, and I refused to part with him. In the end, my two step-sisters moved into the office, my parents moved that stuff into their room, and I moved to my grandparents' house. Today I came home and got more of my things, and this will be our arrangement until my parents can get a new, bigger house. So in the end, Frederick is safe and everyone is happy. Everything has been going well so far, but it's only been a few days. Hopefully, everything stays good. You're the idiot. I understand that you are only 15, but you need to grow up. It is just a snake and this is your new family. Get over yourself and remember that the world doesn't revolve around you. Good on your mom, not the idiot. Opus, I don't like snakes either. Terribly afraid of them, but this isn't a happy ending for you at all. You were forced out of your home for wanting to keep your pet. Your mom and stepdad created this situation by bringing 4 people into a 4-bedroom house so they could play happy family. The fact that your mom is okay with this is heartbreaking, and I'm happy you have your grandparents because you might need to depend on them rather than your parents in the future. Did his mom try to cast him aside? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.